This week, we unravel the tangled web of A Murder of Crows, a psychological thriller from the late 90s, starring Cuba Gooding Jr. And that sounds like I was supposed to say more, but it doesn't say it. Eric Stoltz, hey, he's in it. Caught between a stolen manuscript and a real-life murder case, will Lawson Russell find justice or become another victim of his unintended deceit? Join us as we dive into this intricate mystery. This is Flip Flop. Before we get started, please hit the like button and subscribe if you enjoy these reviews and would like to see more. We would greatly appreciate it, and it would help our little channel grow.
Gary, A Murder of Crows. This is an old movie. I say old. I mean, well, I guess it is almost 30 years old. I remember seeing this back in the day. So this is a little bit of like a retro to a degree for me. I'd seen it. I think you'd said you'd seen it before too.
Yeah.
I think back in the day when we worked in video stores, this is one of those ones you pulled off the shelf and just kind of watched on your lunch hour, or you said, I'll take that home. I don't remember ever hearing anything about this movie coming out in the theaters. I just don't. It was just under the radar totally. But let's jump real quick to Rotten Tomatoes and see what they say about it.
Hey, what's the critics say? I'm really curious about not really so much what other people, the audience says. What's the critic? That's where I really want to know.
So yeah, so this thing,
that in perspective,
critically reviewed back in like what 99 when this came out. Critics have this sitting at a comfortable 0.
Oh wait, who? What? No. So are there any reviews at all?
Or there are 5 critical reviews, and they are all not good.
Okay.
Not good. I skimmed through and I was like, oh boy. The audience, though, was a little more generous. They got it up to 57%. It's rotten. That's with over 5,000 reviews of this movie.
A quick reminder that our rating system is unconventional. We don't hand out stars, we hand out poos and TPs, up to 5 of them. And just to add more confusion, the more we give, the crappier we think the film is. Crappier, get it? Yeah, it's dumb, but that's the way we do it. Yeah.
So, quickly, I'll take the lead on this one, Gary. This was, I give this 2 poops. I like this movie a lot. This is a movie... I'm not saying that the reviews aren't justifiable. It's just one of those films that it's like a guilty pleasure of mine. I actually really enjoy this movie. There are some holes in it. This guy here is a little.
Well, let me go ahead and give you
coming, but
let me go ahead and give you my review and then or my rating, and then we'll get into it a little bit. I gave this movie, once again, you're gonna have plenty to wipe with. A 3.5.
That's not as bad as I thought you were going to go.
3.5 TP. And there are some redeemable things in this movie, which I'll mention. But there's definitely a reason that I found myself on the, as you know, thanks to the rating clip that played.
Yeah.
The more you have, the worse you think the movie is. And I do think there's plenty to pick at in that department. So I'll follow your lead, man. You go ahead.
So look, this film is, I'm not going to go over the whole plot, but it's like a noir film from like the old timey kind of mystery. And I just as a guy who just enjoys a good mystery film, a mystery book. I mean, I just like that type of thriller. I mean, this isn't edge of your seat stuff. It's a murder mystery to a degree, and it's I think it's well done. Is it great? Nah, not really, but I wouldn't hesitate to recommend this to anybody. If someone say, do you know a good film that like I haven't seen, it's unknown? Yeah, go see Murder of Crows. But I mean, I want you to call me mad. I just, I think it plays well. There are some issues with it.
You might call him mad.
Well, I mean, I don't give you my number. This character here is a little transparent. You can see this guy.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no secret there.
But I'd forgotten about this character until I saw the movie again, and so the quick couple notes I wrote. So the first note I have in my worksheet that Gary and I have, the old man looks a little obvious here.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wrote that note down.
Which is really more of a sign of the time. I mean, you have to consider what applications were available at the time.
Yeah.
They probably would be in a much better done in now with the kind of effects that they have.
Yeah, and then I wrote a note that I kind of got answered later on in the film because as I'm watching, I'm like, why? So Behringer on your screen, Word Man, he plays. He's a
Word
detective.
man.
Yeah, you get show me the money, Word Man. That's how I'm seeing on your screen. Word Man plays he's a cop. He's a detective. He's the grizzled old, he's just a typical typecasted disgruntled cop who wants out of his job. But I couldn't figure out for the longest time why was he digging deep into these string of murders.
Okay.
They do kind of answer that later on, so I'm not going to be so harsh on that because it just didn't make sense to me in the plot. Like, why would he give a crap? Like, why would he start tying things? Because for what you don't know, there's a bunch of murders that happen that get tied to Cuba Gooding in a way, and he's trying to clear himself. He's trying to catch him. This guy is just a doddering old fool. But they do explain at some point why Wordman is digging up the murders.
The mixing of the different movies is hilarious to me.
He's always going to be Wordman to me, Gary. For those you don't know, that's Eddie and the Cruisers. Stick around; you heard a lot of that. So, but it plays well. It's just to me, it's just a fun kind of. It kills an hour and a half or whatever it is. It's pretty cool. It's not like. I mean, if you look, you want to think about great, in my opinion. I think you might agree. Great movies that are kind of on the edge of your seat. That are thrillers. You've got like The Game, Memento. Those are great. Usual Suspects. Those are great. This is not that, but it's not bad in my opinion. It's not bad. The one thing I will throw just a little weird little tidbit. This film written and directed, Gary, by one Rowdy Harrington.
Yes.
You know why you know Rowdy Harrington, ladies and gentlemen?
I don't know, but I did look it up. So
Roadhouse.
Yeah.
The original, not the
Right.
Jake Gyllenhaal vehicle, just to show off him and whatever. So Rowdy Harrington wrote and directed this thing. I don't know if he's a great writer. Probably not.
Look, okay, let me just say a few things. First of all, I will say that if you looked at maybe even the script, if you looked at just the script of this movie, I think you would think that this is a great movie. I think that on paper, this thing probably sounded and looked better than it actually came out.
Okay.
I feel like style-wise and the way this thing is done, that it's not sure what it wants to be. It definitely has a very I'll
buy that.
It's got the noir thing, like you're saying. It's got the almost as if it was. It's not, but almost as if it was the old Private Dick type of movie with she came in and
that's a doll face,
because there's a lot of that in the beginning with the voiceover from Cuba Gooding Jr. But it just meanders a little bit through different kind of styles.
It's a little slow. I will agree that. So plodding along. There's a couple. There's like a MacGuffin that makes Thursday one way. That makes you think one way,
but the concept it's not a bad concept. I didn't anger watch this one like I did the previous movie we talked about. Actually, I say previous, but that may not have been the previous movie that you've seen
in a previous episode.
In a previous episode. But it's like at first I was like, this is terrible. Like when it started, because I was just thinking like the acting is so cheesy. It's very cheesy.
Yeah.
But the premise is what kept me invested.
Yeah.
And I think that's the sign of a good story. I just don't know that it was presented in its best light. I would be interested in this being tweaked a little bit, maybe, and being brought back. Like a
I'd love that.
redo. I think that could be interesting. I'm not going to say this movie's terrible. I think if you've got if you like this kind of movie, like you were saying, like a mystery, it's kind of a slow burn.
I mean, Chinatown. It's set. It's not set in the time, but you get that feel that this is a old detective flick.
Yeah. If you like that kind of stuff, I think there's enough there of the story to keep you interested in it. And then you once you get kind of invested in what's going on with this character, you're kind of like, well, I want to see what's going to happen. I actually, I don't remember. I know I saw the movie. I'm absolutely certain of it, but I didn't remember what was going on. I didn't remember the little plays on the different names that they use in it with the Marla. And when it said it, it was obvious to me, going in, so I thought that way when I first saw it too, but I don't know for sure. So there's a few things that kind of give away part of the whole nature. I think it plays on another aspect that we've reached in some of these other movies where you've got a character that does something that maybe is not the moral thing to do, and
that's going to ask you.
Leads himself into kind of his own kind of downfall.
Yep.
With stuff. So there's that complicated character, which is interesting. So I think the story and everything is pretty good. I think on paper it looked great. I don't think the movie's great, but that's where I'm at with it. So that's pretty much all my thought about it.
Listen, that's fair. I think you're spot on. And like I said, like you said, there's a there's a slight moral dilemma, and I said to myself, like, what would I do? You know? And I probably would have done what he did if I had to be honest with myself. But
it's funny because the circumstances that set that up seem so transparent as a viewer that you're like, this is clearly a bad idea. But
that's true.
Not truly in that position. So that's part of it. So I don't know. It's hard to say. But
let's get out of this, Gary. We've said our piece about this movie. I for one, I enjoy this movie. I will probably watch it again in my time. Gary probably will not.
If they redo it and do maybe a little tweak,
I think that's a good idea. Maybe M. Night should do this one.
And I'm not so sure that he would write it, but maybe he could direct a really good version with maybe get somebody else to do a little bit of tweaking of the writing.
Probably get his daughter to play one of the characters.
That's probably a bad idea.
And then get his other daughter to do the soundtrack and make it more like, imagine Purple Rain set to a murder mystery.
As you probably have known, we recently reviewed Trap, and we're
still
this is a
hammering.
We're still mad.
All right, I'm out. That's
all right. Thanks, everybody. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know if you saw Murder Crows. If not, come back and watch it. Come back here and let us know what you thought. I'd be curious to see where you land on it.
I dare you to watch it.
Yeah.
And tell me I'm wrong, because I'm not.
Yeah. Tell me I'm right.
He's not.
I think I am.
Wait. This has been a Touch of Madness production, brought to you by the creative minds at Tommy Twins Media.